Welcome back to my channel, the best place for millennial professionals who feel stuck in their careers to find their dream careers. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to avoid common career mistakes when you're at a career crossroads in your 30s. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell to receive regular updates on all things related to career change. Also, join my Facebook group called Career Change Advice, where you can chat with like-minded individuals who are interested in making their careers work for them instead of the other way around. Hi, I'm Dr. John Tam. I have a PhD in sociology from the University of Oxford, and I'm passionate about helping millennial professionals find their dream careers through gaining career clarity and building soft skills. So without further ado, here are the 5 common mistakes that people make in their career crossroads in their 30s. Number 1, not networking. And we all understand the importance of networking. And despite its advantages, we sometimes give up building and expanding our networks too quickly. The mistake we make is that we think it is no longer necessary to expand our professional network after landing the job that we were hoping for. And as a result, we end up restricting ourselves to developing relationships primarily with the people we see in our company every day. Some of the most significant professional contacts you'll need is to be with people who are outside of your organization throughout your career, and these connections are invaluable, particularly when you are planning your next step. So you need to keep investing on these connections. Essentially, you need to think about it this way, and this is what a Stanford sociologist once said: there's primary and there's secondary connections. The primary connections that you have are essentially the people who you see day in and day out. They're the people in your community, they're people in your family, they're your closest friends, they're your people in your company. And essentially, you see them day in and day out because you basically traverse the same networks. However, the real people who are going to be useful to you are those who are in your secondary networks. And these are the people who you've crossed paths with once upon a time and you shared a short stint together and you kind of understand what each other are doing, but you haven't really developed too much further beyond that. Number 1, the impression, if it's positive, usually stays positive, so you don't really have a chance to mess it up. But number 2 is that they would know people who are outside of your network because you don't share the common networks, right? You don't share the common community. And so basically, by reaching out to them, you basically access a network where you generally do not have access to. And so basically, you gotta think of primary and secondary networks, and secondary networks are the ones you want to keep providing value for and basically contributing and nurturing. And as I've discussed in the past, networking feels super slimy when you're doing it with an ask. You need to frame it in a way that what you're doing is you're contributing to the professional community. And it could be something as simple as posting a relevant article to fellow professionals in your network on LinkedIn. It could be making tweets that are useful. It could be dropping quotes from something that inspires you, or it could be sharing experience in your life that's relevant to everyone around you. But basically, you just start doing it today so that network is available to you when you need it in the future. And honestly, it takes like 15 minutes a day to maintain, just going on LinkedIn and engaging people, and that could go a long way. The second common mistake that people at their career crossroads in their 30s make is that they burn bridges. And your credibility means everything in the workplace. If things go wrong with your current job and you find it time to move on, make sure you navigate your career by regulating your emotions well. You might feel like you want to leave work or be tempted to say something that you might regret later, but you need to keep in mind that there's a fair possibility that you will meet some of the same people again sooner or later in your career. So you gotta make sure you leave in a way that's not gonna cause lasting harm. It's a small world. If you're in a functional role in an industry in a city, plenty of people you interact with will probably be there for the rest of your career. As you advance, so will they. And they may know a friend of a friend, and you'll be amazed how small the world is. And essentially, the research shows that we are only 6.3 degrees separation away from everyone else in the world. So making some career errors along the way is unavoidable, but you need to make sure that you're not burning bridges. And I've talked about this in the negatives of job hopping in your 30s, which I'll put in the cards above. But basically, if you burn bridges per hop or per move, basically what's going to happen is that you're going to hurt your chances for advancement in the future, because a network within a function within an industry in a single city is typically very closed and insular. And as you advance from your 30s to your 40s to your 50s, so will these people. So you need to keep that in mind. You can take better control of your future by being aware of the mistakes that could hurt your future and by knowing how to rebound and quickly get back on track. And one common problem that people have is with setting boundaries. And I have a video about setting healthy boundaries in the workplace with colleagues that I'll put in the cards above. So basically, remember to not burn bridges because these are connections that may open or close roads in the future. The third common mistake that people make at career crossroads is that they get too comfortable and essentially stunt their own growth. It's common to get a position in a firm and then find yourself coasting for a few years. You get settled, you know your work duties inside and out, you make a good wage, and 3, 5, or even 10 years have gone by before you know it. Nowadays, it's especially important to take charge of your destiny. The new employment atmosphere requires you to be vigilant about continuing education and training, and there are plenty of trends in the near future that may replace human labor, such as AI, automation, 5G, robotics, globalization, or other black swan events. And being complacent can get you in a lot of trouble because basically there's a lot of threats that could happen out of nowhere. So think about Zoom, for example, right? Before COVID, Zoom stock was basically at $70 and not a lot of people were using it. But as of this video, Zoom stock just hit $500 and its volume is basically higher than Cisco and Microsoft put together, right? WebEx and Microsoft Teams. So there are always things in the horizon, such as black swan events that may sweep the industry, and you need to be on top of the game. So I would highly recommend you to check out my video about the future skills trends for soft skills and hard skills. In addition, certain personalities are more predisposed to being complacent in the workplace, such as those people who are lower in trade openness to experience. So I would highly recommend you to check out the free personality test, which I've included in the links below. And also check out my video, Career Change Mindset, to get a better understanding of how to pivot using your skills instead of titles when the time comes. And I'll put it in the cards above. Do you feel you've gotten too comfortable at work? Let me know in the comments below. The fourth common mistake is ignoring your gut feeling, your intuition. And when you're at a crossroads, you hear a little voice inside of you that just says, it just doesn't feel right. And that's what we call intuition. It's a gut reaction or a hunch or a little inner voice that alerts us that we might be making a career mistake. Many people will prefer to dismiss their intuition, believing that we could just listen to our rational minds. But the truth of the matter is that we can use both instinct and reason. And I talk about this a lot more in my video, Reasons for a Career Change, which I'll put in the cards above. But the fact of the matter is, intuition has been verified to be a career advantage by research. So in a research study at the New Jersey Institute of Technology, hundreds of company managers have been tested for their intuitive skill. And many who have higher analytical abilities have shown that intuition has improved their decision-making skills. In a Harvard study of executives, respondents said that they use their intuitive skills as often as they use their analytical skills, but they naturally attributed 80% of their achievements to their analytical skills. The days of pure rational choice is over. In the social sciences, it is as clear as day that intuition and emotion kicks in and frames irrational thinking long before we're even aware of it. And this is covered at length by Daniel Kahneman in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, where it talks about our fast brain, which is our emotions and intuition, versus our slow brain, which is our analytical cognitive abilities. And if something feels off, it probably is. And so my advice to people is to definitely check out that book because it basically talks about how your cognitive biases can kick into play before your logic even kicks in. Your emotions and intuition comes first. It's immediate. It's the fast brain. And I definitely recommend everyone to check it out if they want to get a better understanding of how intuition works. The fifth mistake that people at their career crossroads in their 30s make is not understanding their value. And many workers do not understand their professional worth and even underestimate their value. You need to know precisely what strengths and skills you bring to the table, as well as how important this is in contrast to your peers doing a similar job. Knowing this will give you a competitive advantage. One way to understand your value is to keep track of your achievements and the skills that you've applied to make these achievements. And I would highly recommend you to check out my videos on soft skills and hard skills, which I'll put in the links above. But basically, every time you've accomplished something that's of value, you need to write it down and track it. And if you can use quantitative data, that's even better. Essentially, you want to lay out what areas you have consistently outperformed and what's the measurement, what are the metrics. Most importantly, don't settle for anything less than you deserve. After all, if you don't understand your importance and worth, why should anyone else? And if you don't advocate for yourself, why would anyone else advocate for you? And as you keep tracking this data, it becomes your case to negotiate for more. And just for a little bit more context, men negotiate for their salary more than women. And people who negotiate on average make 13 to 15% more per job switch. So you need to compare that to a regular raise of 3% if you are nice and you're not really asking for it and you're not really vouching for your value. If you're at a career crossroads and you're considering a career change, then check out my free training called Stop Feeling Stuck in Your Career, Find Your Dream Career, and I'll put it in the links below. Also, download my guide on how to find your your dream career, and take a complimentary and accurate career personality test, which I'll also include in the links below. And make sure to join my Facebook group, Career Change Advice, where you can be with other individuals who are interested in making their careers work for them rather than the other way around. In my next video, I'm going to discuss how to navigate a midlife career crisis crossroads in your 40s. And if you're in your late 30s, you should probably start thinking about your 40s. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell for updates for when that video comes out. Also, leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts on this video. Don't forget to give it a like and share it with your network if you found this to be valuable. Take care.